But when I looked at Leo, my heart tightened. His shirt was stained with dried dirt, spoiling the blue fabric I had carefully ironed that very morning. He stood there silently, clutching his toy car, saying nothing about his outing. My chest ached. "Did you have fun, my boy?" I asked softly, crouching down to stroke his hair. He only nodded slightly, eyes averted, and I felt a knot of worry tighten in my stomach. I wanted to ask more, to understand why he was so quiet. But Ava's voice interrupted, dripping with sweetness as always. "I already told you, Mrs. Williams, he loved it." I nodded politely, but inside me a flicker of doubt began to grow. Something wasn't right. On another occasion when Alex was at work, Ava appeared unannounced. I was in the kitchen preparing chili when I heard her voice in the living room. At first it was soft and playful, but suddenly a harsh edge cut through the air. "Stay still, Leo, don't make a mess. You're a big boy now, but you still act like a baby." My hands froze over the chopping board, a chill running down my spine. I stepped out, and instantly, her voice softened again, smiling as if nothing had happened. "Our Leo is so clever. Look at the tall tower he built." She gestured toward his wooden blocks, but Leo pressed his lips together and glanced at me, a silent plea for help. I forced a smile, trying to calm the unease gnawing at me. Surely she wasn't used to children. Surely everyone can be a little harsh at first. Yet, a small seed of doubt had been planted, and it was taking root. Leo's 7th birthday was a memory that would stay with me forever. Lucy, my adopted daughter, had spent the morning baking his favorite chocolate cake. When she arrived, placing the candles on the table, Leo's eyes sparkled for the first time in months. "Aunt Lucy, this is my favorite cake," he cried, rushing to hug her. She laughed softly, stroking his hair. "I made it for you, my love. Eat as much as you want." Watching them, warmth filled my chest, a tiny flame of hope rekindling after months of fear and sadness. Ava was there too, but her claps were perfunctory, her smile strained. Her gift to Leo was nothing more than a half-hearted pat on the shoulder and a fleeting, "Happy birthday, champ." Leo shrank slightly, avoiding her gaze, and my heart ached again. I wanted to say something, to defend him, but I stayed quiet, convincing myself not to overstep. Another time, Alex took Ava and Leo to the grocery store. I stayed home, yet I could hear the tension in Ava's voice upon their return. Leo dropped a whole bag of candy at the checkout, and I had to pay for it. "What a clumsy boy," Alex frowned, his words sharp. "Leo, you're a big boy now. You have to be more careful." Leo lowered his head, hands intertwined, glancing at me as if begging for help. I rushed to him, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Don't worry, my boy. It's just some candy." But inside I could not stop wondering, why did Ava become angry so easily with a child? Why couldn't she show the gentle warmth Maria had always given him? The unease only deepened one afternoon when I picked Leo up from school. His teacher, Mrs. Davis, spoke to me in a hushed, concerned voice. "Mrs. Williams, lately Leo has been speaking less. He seems withdrawn. Is something happening at home?" I froze, a pang of guilt slicing through me, but I forced a calm reply. "I'm sure it's just the changes, Mrs. Davis. Don't worry." On the walk home, Leo tugged at my blouse, his voice trembling. "Grandma, I don't want to go home with Miss Ava." I stopped in my tracks, kneeling to meet his clear, pleading eyes. My heart ached. "Why do you say that, my love? Miss Ava loves you," I said softly, but I felt the words fail me. Leo shook his head, determination hardening in his gaze. "No, Grandma, she doesn't love me." I stroked his hair, trying to calm him, but deep down, I knew the boy was telling the truth. Lucy nearby had heard everything. She turned away, shoulders tense, silently holding back a sigh. All the pieces, the little signs I had chosen to ignore, finally aligned in a pattern too painful to dismiss. The day of my son's wedding arrived with a golden Florida sun pouring through the ballroom windows, bathing everything in a radiant glow. I sat at table number 8, next to my grandson Leo and Lucy, my adopted daughter. Leo was quietly playing with his red toy car, whispering soft vroom vroom sounds, and my heart filled with both love and worry. Lucy, in her simple beige dress, leaned over from time to time, whispering little encouragements in his ear, smiling as if she were the sun itself. "Eat another little piece of bread, my boy," she said, breaking off a small piece for him. I smiled, a fragile sense of comfort warming me. Amid all the tension, Lucy and Leo were a beacon of light, a reminder that our family could survive even after years of pain. Alex, my son, moved between the tables, toasting with relatives, his face bright with happiness. I wanted to believe that this new chapter, with Ava in her dazzling beaded dress, would bring him joy. Yet, every time my eyes met hers, laughing loudly for the cameras, swirling her wineglass effortlessly, a small thorn pricked my heart. Her smile was too perfect, too calculated, and every gesture seemed like a mask carefully placed to hide something darker. The soft melody of the jazz band blended with the lively hum of conversation. I noticed Leo hesitated with the appetizers, picking up only a cracker and pushing the shrimp away. I leaned closer, whispering, "Don't you like this, my love?" He shook his head, eyes darting away as if hiding a secret. I wanted to ask more, but a distant relative interrupted with casual cheer. "And Leo is behaving well, Betty. Look how big he's grown." I smiled politely, but inside, unease was gnawing at me. This was not like him. Something was wrong. Then it happened. Leo, still clutching his toy car, nudged it too hard, and it rolled across the floor. As he crouched to pick it up, his eyes widened, frozen on something beneath the table. My heart lurched. He fumbled, pulling out a small piece of paper, folded into quarters, his face pale and trembling. He clutched my hand and whispered, "Grandma, let's go, please. Let's go now." Panic surged through me, my blood running cold. "What is it, my boy?" I asked, forcing a calm voice. But his terrified look told me the truth. He repeated, almost shaking from fear, "You didn't look under the table, did you?" I knelt, lifting the white tablecloth, and there it was, the little paper, innocent in appearance but heavy with menace. Hands trembling, I unfolded it. Written in a careless scrawl were the words, "Table, add shrimp to the child's serving." My chest constricted. Shrimp, Leo's deadly allergy. One piece could have killed him. The music and laughter of the wedding faded into a suffocating silence in my mind. Ava, glowing in her dress, laughed and raised her glass in a toast to a guest, unaware, or pretending to be, of the danger she had orchestrated. Alex smiled for the cameras, his joy blinding him to the truth at his own table. I gripped the paper, feeling its threat burn my skin. My grandson, the child I loved more than life itself, had almost become a victim of a sinister plot on his father's wedding day. I glanced at Lucy. Her eyes, sharp with concern, met mine. "Take care of Leo, please," I said, my voice trembling but firm. She pulled him close, holding him as if her own arms could shield him from the world. "Where are you going?" she asked softly, anguish in every word. I shook my head. I didn't know yet, but I had to act. The hallway bustled with waiters chatting, their laughter cruelly contrasting the storm inside me. David, the young man who had delivered our food several times, was among them. I approached, holding the paper up. "Do you know who sent this?" I demanded. His face paled. "My God, this is my paper," he stammered. "A woman gave it to me. I dropped it on the tray by accident." Relief flickered, but my anger only intensified. "Who gave it to you?" I pressed. He shook, stammering, I don't know her name, ma'am. She just told me to give it to the chef." I had no idea. Rage exploded inside me. I could barely contain it. "David, my grandson is allergic to shrimp. A single piece could have killed him." His eyes widened in horror, voice breaking. "I swear I didn't know, ma'am. I just followed the note." The other waiters whispered among themselves, a silent audience to the horror. I clutched the paper, feeling the weight of its threat, knowing I couldn't let my emotions control me, not now. Leo was waiting. I had to protect him. Returning to the ballroom, the music and chatter tried to resume, but everything felt hollow. I took Leo's small hand, feeling him tremble, and stood, my voice cutting clearly through the ambient noise. "One moment, please, before we begin to eat. I have something to clarify." The room froze. Eyes turned to our table. The clinking of glasses paused, whispers fading to shocked silence. I held up the paper. Who wrote this, asking for shrimp to be added to the child serving at table 8? Alex rushed over, his smile evaporating, replaced by confusion and fear. He read the paper, paled, hands trembling. What does this mean? He asked, voice cracking. Ava, flawless in her gown, stepped forward, feigning shock. What is all this? Some kind of bad joke? She said, voice soft but tense. My gaze locked on hers, anger and fear twisting in my chest. My grandson is allergic to shrimp. This is not a joke. This is an attempt at murder. The words fell like thunder. The room went still. Guess whispered, faces pale. Ava forced a laugh, trying to maintain composure. Mrs. Williams, there's no name on the paper. Are you going to believe a story a child made up? She sneered, dismissing my fury. The audacity ignited me. I wanted to scream, to expose her, but I stayed calm, for Leo. Then Lucy moved. She wrapped her arms around him, eyes blazing. That's enough, Ava, she said, voice cold and unwavering. She stepped forward, slapping Ava. The sound echoed, breaking the false calm. Ava's hand flew to her cheek, eyes wide with shock, her mask cracking. Lucy's voice, trembling with anger, cut through the tension. The only wicked person here is you. You wanted to harm an innocent child at your own wedding. The whispers of guests grew louder, doubt turning toward Ava. Alex froze, trapped between disbelief and the painful truth. Ava's defenses faltered. She tried to deflect, blaming others, but the truth had no escape. Security approached, asking her politely but firmly to leave. No one sided with her. She was alone, exposed, defeated. Alex fell to his knees in front of Leo, his voice breaking. Son, forgive me. Forgive me for not protecting you. Tears streamed down his face, and my own heart fractured. I helped him up, whispering. Luckily, we stopped it in time. This false happiness ends here. Ava disappeared from our lives like a toxic wind, leaving silence in her wake. Leo clung to Lucy, red toy car in hand, and I knew that the warmth, protection, and love he had long been denied would now be his. In the aftermath, we began the slow process of healing, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, knowing that the real battles were fought not in grand celebrations, but in the quiet moments of protection, courage, and love. Days turned into weeks, and the nightmare of that wedding lingered like a shadow over our home. Every corner, every hallway seemed to echo the danger that had almost taken Leo from us. Alex was a changed man. The vibrant joy that had once lit up his face now seemed trapped behind a veil of guilt and regret. He no longer moved through the world with the careless confidence I remembered. Instead, he was quiet, withdrawn, haunted by the memory of what could have happened. Every morning, he walked Leo to school in silence, hands firmly gripping the little boys, as if holding on for both of their safety. I watched him, my heart heavy, understanding that the burden he carried was real and deserved. Leo, despite his young age, seemed to sense the tension. He clung to Lucy constantly, seeking comfort in her steady presence. Every laugh she coaxed from him felt like a small miracle. Every time he opened his lunchbox to see a smiling face drawn by her hand, my heart softened. It was Lucy who was healing him, who was slowly filling the empty spaces left by fear and betrayal. She treated every small detail with love, making sure there was no shrimp, no risk, nothing that could harm him. Each morning, she would kneel by his bed, tying his shoes or brushing his hair, whispering softly, "I've got you. Leo, nothing will hurt you while I'm here." Watching them together, I realized that love, in its purest form, could rebuild what deceit had tried to destroy. Yet healing was slow. Alex would often sit in the living room long after Leo had gone to bed, staring blankly at the floor, his hands trembling slightly as he held a cup of tea. I never interrupted. I knew he needed this time, the silence to confront himself and his mistakes. One evening, he quietly took Lucy's hand without thinking, and for the first time in weeks, he allowed himself a glimmer of hope, a tentative connection that wasn't tainted by betrayal. Lucy's cheeks flushed, but her eyes, filled with warmth and quiet strength, did not waver. In that moment, I knew that a new chapter had begun. Not one of grand celebrations or fleeting joy, but of sincere love and trust slowly being rebuilt. Life continued, small moments becoming our sanctuary. One sunny afternoon, I watched Lucy and Leo in the backyard. She was teaching him how to fly a kite, her hands guiding his tiny fingers on the string. Leo's laughter rang out like music, pure and unbroken, and I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in months. I saw Alex standing silently at the door, watching them, tears welling in his eyes. There was regret, yes, but also gratitude, an unspoken acknowledgement of Lucy's unwavering presence and protection. The world outside our yard could be cruel and chaotic, but in that moment, surrounded by the laughter of a child and the quiet love of someone devoted to him, I felt that maybe we could finally breathe. One night, Leo developed a high fever. I watched Lucy sit vigil by his bedside, her hand pressing a damp cloth to his forehead, her voice soft but steady as she whispered tales of bravery and hope. She stayed with him for hours, never leaving, never faltering. I stood at the door, tears streaming silently down my cheeks, realizing that this woman, this chosen family member, had become the anchor for our lives. She had proven through action, patience, and unwavering love that family isn't just a matter of blood, it's a matter of heart. Gradually, the wounds of that day began to fade, though the memory of Ava lingered like a cautionary tale. She was gone, completely erased from our lives, leaving behind only the pain she had caused and the lessons we had painfully learned. Alex began to emerge from his shadow of guilt, slowly returning to the man he once was, though wiser and more cautious. Leo's laughter returned, first in small peals, then in unstoppable cascades of joy. And Lucy remained our steadfast light, her presence reminding us daily that love, courage, and devotion could heal even the deepest scars. One evening, during a rare family dinner, Leo looked across the table at Lucy. His eyes, wide and clear, shone with a vulnerability and honesty that melted everyone's hearts. "I want Aunt Lucy to be my mommy," he said softly, but firmly, as if speaking a truth he had carried silently for a long time. The room went silent, everyone frozen in that moment. Lucy blushed, her hands trembling slightly as she gripped her spoon. Alex's gaze softened, tears spilling over as he realized the depth of the bond between his son and Lucy. I reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder, whispering, "True happiness, son, doesn't come from a dazzling wedding or false appearances. It comes from a sincere heart that knows how to love." Time moved on. The house slowly healed, laughter returning to the walls, the yard once again echoing with joy. Leo became a happy, carefree boy, inseparable from Lucy, his red toy car always in hand, a constant reminder of innocence restored. Alex finally stood before me one evening, holding Lucy's hand, his voice trembling but determined. "Mom, I know I made a mistake. I was blind. I put Leo in danger. But this time, I won't let go of the person who's truly been by our side." Lucy's cheeks flushed, her radiant smile breaking through as hope filled the room. I nodded, tears sliding silently down my face, whispering, "The only thing I want is for you and Leo to be happy." That night, after Leo had fallen asleep, I sat by the window, gazing at the silver moonlight stretching over the quiet street. Its soft glow reminded me that even after the darkest nights, light always finds a way through, I whispered to myself. Family isn't always made of blood. Sometimes it's chosen, built with love, courage, and sacrifice. And in that moment, I felt an unshakable peace, knowing that although the old wounds might never fully vanish, we would face life together, united by love, strength, and a promise to protect each other from the darkness. This story, as I've shared, is more than just a recount of betrayal and danger. It's a lesson in vigilance, courage, and the power of true affection. Every small gesture of attention, every act of care, can save a life, just as Lucy's devotion saved Leo. It's a reminder that even when hearts are broken, when families are threatened, hope and love can create a new chapter. Before I end, I want to leave you with a thought. How many families suffer silently behind closed doors? How many children and loved ones are placed in danger because of deceit or neglect? I hope that by listening to this story, you might pause, reflect, and act with care in your own lives. And as always, on the final screen, I'll leave 2 of our channel's favorite stories for you. Stories that will surprise you, move you, and perhaps teach you something valuable about life, love, and the strength of family. Remember, the courage to protect, to love, and to act wisely will always guide us toward brighter days.